Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. Today we are back with some more Elite Dangerous, continuing on with our run of rescue missions. Um, Tonight we're going to be seeing if any of the passenger evacuation missions that we pick up will start routing us to some of the rescue megaships that are closer to the warfront, or if all of them are going to still route us back here to Tarak Tor. Let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that haven't followed some of the Elite Dangerous news recently, or those of you that don't play the game at all, recently they moved about half of the rescue megaships closer to the warfront. Pop up here into the galaxy map. So we still have a spread that are, back closer to the central bubble. But we've got a couple that have moved closer to the warfront. Make things easier, especially for some of the passenger missions. And, well, at least when I was running some missions yesterday, I was finding that I was still being routed all the way back to Tarak Tor, even though, we've got another rescue megaship right over here. Much, much closer to the warfront. So, we shall see where things end up sticking us tonight. Let's dive just a little bit so that we don't smack into this rescue megaship. And away we go. I'm hoping that, they'll start running more missions at the closer rescue ships. Mainly because one of the biggest hindrances when it comes to running these rescue missions is distance. Like, some of you that have watched my Elite streams for a while, back when I was doing a lot of cargo transport, you know that I would try and find routes that have the fewest possible jumps. And, the stations I was going to, I'd try and make sure that they were, I always tried to make sure that the stations were relatively close to the start to minimize travel time. Because the shorter the distance that I have to travel, along each leg of the journey, the more frequently I can make that trip. A trip that is, one jump to the destination and then less than 100 light seconds to the station, on both ends. That's going to take me, round trip, let's say it's like 10 minutes. But, if I have to add in, that compared to a route that is, let's say, 3 jumps, and even if the stations are still fairly close to the main star, within that 100 light seconds, that's 3 jumps. So, that bumps my total time. Let's say I take time to fuel scoop along the way. Or, I have to do a bit of a loop around the star, regardless. It's still, it doesn't add a huge amount of time, but for sake of the discussion, let's say that bumps me up to 15 minutes. 5-minute difference between the 2 runs. However, that's still 10 minutes versus 15. So in an hour, that's 6 trips versus 4. And if each trip I'm making, let's say both these routes, I'm still making the same amount for each of them. Let's say it's 100 million credits. That's 600 million versus 400 million in an hour and whatnot. And so, obviously, I'm going to go the route that nets the, allows me the highest profit in that hour. kind of the same thing with this is, I'm making money off of these passenger missions. If I can start running missions to a station that's much closer, that means I can run more missions per, in an hour than I could, when I'm having to make, 5 or 6 jumps. If I only have to make 2, I can make that trip, that round trip that much quicker. Which, not only is good for me because it allows me to make more money, it's also good for the war effort, as it means I'm running more missions and, contributing more frequently to the overall effort. And that's kind of the biggest thing with this is I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting, my maximum contribution to the war effort. At least, you know, within the field that I'm most comfortable with. If I wanted to go for the absolute min-max, route, I'd be running tissue samples, but I've heard all about how those usually work and whatnot, and that's just, I'll be honest, running tissue samples really isn't my thing. Plus seeing, especially within AXI, within that group, seeing that we've got a lot of people there starting to really get burned out from it, it's like, yeah, and at least running the passenger missions, I'm making a decent amount of money. Go away, Interceptor. Uh, oh, dang it. All because of that stupid loop that I had to do. Well, 6% damage, I can live with that. I'll be able to repair it once I get to the starport here in this system. Alright. Dodgedill City. All things considered, I could actually run my Orca out here. The one downside with that is, ironically, the Orca doesn't carry as many passengers as the Python does, which I find is kind of hilarious. The passenger liner, the ship that is designed for carrying passengers, carries fewer than, the multi-role, mining, combat, exploration ship. Also, the fact that, the Python is a medium and the Orca is a large. You'd think that the Orca would be able to carry more. The only real advantage that the Orca has over the Python is that the Orca can carry luxury class cabins, which for, some of the VIP passenger missions, you need to have a luxury class. But that really chops down on the, overall number of passengers that you can carry. Because, like, even a class 6 luxury cabin carries, it's like 6 or 8 passengers total. Not very many. I mean, honestly, why fit luxury cabins when you can just run a bunch of economy class cabins and stack everyone in like sardines? That's one of the other things I found kind of funny with a lot of these passenger missions is I've found that more of the group transport ones, they pay more than some of the VIP missions. At least a lot of the ones I've been running across. Granted, I'm sure if I were to slap a luxury class passenger cabin, I might be able to get some of the higher paying VIP missions. And truth be told, I might actually try that. See if they have any back at Taktor or, wherever these missions I pick up, wherever they end up sending me. I do wish this system had a port that was closer to the star. Though then again, that probably just make things too easy. All the Discord pings. See what I forget what my current standing with some of the local factions are. Friendly, cordial, friendly, cordial, cordial, neutral, neutral. Okay. That's a really low flying helicopter. Alrighty. Let's see what we got. VIP missions. What is our highest paying? Let's see, 6.8 million. 6.8 million. And they're still going back to Tarktor. Business. Because I think what I have right now is a business class for my, VIP passengers. We got some that need first class. That one's a luxury. That pays such. So this one I probably could have picked up, but I think it's also locked by reputation. Same with that one. Those are ones that I think I'm either neutral or cordial with. Alright, groups. Let's see. 3, 2, 4, 4, 5. We start with the highest paying ones first. And then we just kind of downstack from there. Because yes, we do want to evacuate everyone, but we also want to turn a profit. Alright. And we are full up. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I've got a rescue ship right over here in Helen that is 42 light years. It is right there. But no, the missions are still wanting me to go, triple the overall distance. Yeah. So we got 42.41 light years there. But the missions want me to do 122. Alrighty. I hate it so much. Come on, I just... well. With a bit of luck, next week, because I do believe it is next week that they're going to start moving, or they'll start prepping the other megaships, for their move. Hopefully then, current mission offerings will redirect to the closer megaships. I'm hopeful. We'll see how it actually works out, though. Alright, now we brace for the incoming Scythe hyperdiction. Huh. I guess not. Certainly ain't gonna complain, though. One of the other nice things, or one of the things that would be nice about having a closer, having the missions route me to those closer rescue ships, is I don't have to worry about, fuel use nearly as much. Because right now, it's basically I have to refill at either end of my loop, at both ends, actually. I can't do a full circuit on a single tank and whatnot. And since I don't have a fuel scoop, because that takes up space that I need for other internal components. Oh, hush. Stupid passengers. I liked it better when they were quiet. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that, now I'm carrying fewer passengers, per mission, fewer passengers per mission, which allows me to stack more missions. And the missions are also paying out a bit better now. Like, I'm happy about that. I'm just not so happy about the constant inbox chatter from them. One of those things. Shush. It's one of those things that I wish I could turn off those particular messages. Like, have a setting where, passenger related messages, turn off anything unless it's, a request for a alternate uh, drop off. Like, unless it's a actionable message, something that, a modification to the mission or something like that, just block everything else. That way, each run I might get one inbox message. I wonder if that's even something that I can filter. Doesn't look like it. That's a shame. Yeah, especially this. The fact that I can go through and delete all of them, faster than the game can actually clear them out of my inbox. I gotta love that. Keeping an eye on the main chat just on the off chance that one of these two ships, let's see, Asp Explorer and a Cobra Mark III and a Asp Scout and a Hauler. Sidewinder might be problematic. Nope, they all dropped. That's one of those things I've always found hilarious. It's like, the AI pilots in the Sidewinders are always the most gutsy. And it's like, most of the time they're some of the most underwhelming. But every once in a while, you see one and it's like, I think I'd rather not. There's a lot of time you get like twin multi-cannon, or because the Sidewinder only has the two small hard points, you get like multi-cannon or lasers, stuff like that. But every once in a while you get, one that's got like cannons or rail guns or plasma accelerators. Stuff that actually hits hard and really does hurt. It's like, oh well then. And built right, sidewinders are actually really hard to get rid of at times, just because they're a small target and they're fast. And so if you're using fixed weaponry, they can be really hard to hit, especially if you're in a larger, less maneuverable ship. Like, if I'm in something like my Anaconda, sidewinders, eagles, uh, vultures, vipers, some of those smaller ships, those do actually make me nervous because they're so much faster and so much more agile than the Anaconda. But if I'm in something like a Alliance Chieftain or the Charger or a Alliance Challenger, one of my smaller combat ships, then usually I'm not too worried about it. Usually. One downside to the Anaconda is it's like when I run assault mechs frequently in MechWarrior Online, is I get accustomed to all the armor and weapons, and so when I run something smaller, I forget I don't have nearly as much firepower or armor. But then I still end up playing like, I'm running a much, heavier ship. At least until I end up meeting the revive screen. And it's like, oh yes, I need to play like I'm, fighting in a small ship and not like I'm, in a capital class ship. I think the game is trying to tell me that I'm moving too quickly. Oh boy. Alright. And back we go. Yay, raised to cordial. So that first run gave us about 40 million credits. Not bad. See what this next run brings us. hopefully that last run we did will be the only one where I end up taking damage, on a hyperdiction headed into the alert system. We'll see how well that actually works out for me, but hopefully it'll be the only one. I think that's actually one of the first times that I've taken any significant hit, on my way into an alert system. Yeah, I actually think it is. Huh. I know I've had some close calls, but usually if I end up taking a beating, it's on the way out. Thanks to those stupid scythes. Granted, I could always, swap out for a heavier, stronger grade of armor. Truth be told, that might actually be in my best interest. How'd you look at that? Got in without issue. I've been doing too much in Invasion and Maelstrom systems recently. My first instinct was just, okay, just drop throttle and, submit to the interdiction. Because it's like, you can't escape from a Thargoid one. It's like, no, wait, that's a human interdiction. Why? I'm not even carrying anything. I mean, okay, 16 limpets, but like, come on. You know what probably is the fact that, I'm in a rival powers territory. And so this Sven is like, oh, we have someone that's aligned with one of the Empire factions. I forget exactly which. Who am I aligned with right now? Aisling. That's right. Yeah, they probably looked as like, oh, look, it's someone aligned with Aisling. Let's go give them a bad day. Which, like, on the one hand, okay, fair, but at the same time, it's like, come on, I'm helping to get people out of this system. Leave me alone. I am here on a humanitarian mission. Cease all hostilities. If only it were that easy. Then again, that might take some of the fun out of it. And I mean, truth be told, if we look at some real world analogs, how often do we just, leave humanitarian, efforts alone? Alright, let's pick up our next batch. Pass. Let's see, 4 million. 3. That is one of the things I forget sometimes, is the mission pool, I am competing with other commanders, even when I'm playing in solo. The mission pool is still, more or less universal. Well, let's fill up the rest of the cabins. Alrighty. And back to Tarktor we go. yay. Some of my passengers are illegal. Well, let's get out of here before someone tries to scan me. I don't particularly feel like trying, I don't feel like picking up bounties today.
Speed restrictions are now lifted. Until next time, Commander.
And there it is. I predicted on the way in on the last run, nothing on the way up. Just gonna slowly turn as we cruise away. Home free. Now, all things considered, I could stand and fight. I'm not that good at it, though. And so more often than not, I choose to just try and run. This random mission certainly isn't going to be paying me a whole lot. Might get me up to, the 300 million mark. Maybe. I think even that's kind of a conservative estimate. Or, no, the conservative estimate would be more along the lines of it might get me up to, 290. Somewhere around there. This right here is a really good example of what I was talking about at the start of the stream. We've been running this for almost an hour, and this will be 2 runs in that span of time. Now, if these missions were having me drop the passengers off of that other rescue ship, the one that was 42 light years away, I would probably be on my 3rd or 4th run right now. Which would mean both, as I mentioned earlier, 1, I make more money off of it, and 2, I'm contributing that much more to the war effort. But I suppose that'd probably just make things too easy. Too many messages. Hopefully, come next week, um, they'll have the mission stuff fixed. Because I stupid thing. Stupid auto dock. Every so often. Every so often it does that. I hate it so much. Oh well. It's probably another one that we got bumped up to cordial. Yep. Alrighty. Back out we go. Just shy of hitting 1.3 billion. I think I might do for next week's Elite stream, if I end up doing one, um, is head off to see if I can find a system that is offering reactivation missions. Um, I don't think I'll pick up the AX reboots just because I don't quite have the equipment for dealing with revenants and whatnot, at least not solo. I tried yesterday and I got into the system. I got into these outposts. I got powered up. Didn't alert any of the revenants, and then on my way out, I had all of them, end up locking on me. And when you have 6 revenants that all decide to fire at you at once, you die very, very quickly. So, yeah, that was fun. It's just standard, reboot missions and whatnot. I'll probably pick up some of those. And of course, I lose my train of thought. But yeah, system reboots. Yeah, just a normal, go out into a regular system and find a reboot mission. I might pick up some like that. The reason why I phrased it as, if I do a stream next week is because next week is Salt Lake's FanX Comic Con. And I actually got the 3-day pass for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, next week definitely not going to be having a Saturday stream. And depending on how long I stay at the convention on Friday, I may or may not do a stream then as well. Kind of undecided at this point. Yeah, we'll at least be doing Mech Warrior on Monday, and I will be trying to I'll try and make sure that I get the next episode of my Space Engineers build tutorial. I'll try and make sure I get that out next week as well. I think I might move some of those videos to a every other week basis, just because I'm not trying to keep up on a weekly schedule is not working out for me, unfortunately. I think I might do just a little bit better with a every other week, just because that gives me a little more time to record, edit, and upload, and with a bit of luck, um, actually get a bit of a backlog recorded. And that's something I've had a lot of people recommend to me is, having, 2 or 3 videos recorded and, uploaded to YouTube ready to, push live and whatnot. That way, I just go in, get them uploaded, and then just have their releases scheduled and whatnot. And that way, it gives me, that much more of a buffer, to record and upload. If I can actually get myself to sit down and get the trailer for my Areas of War playthrough, get that put together. That's one that, I think I mentioned before, I plan on trying to get at least 2 episodes of that series recorded and whatnot before I release the trailer. That way, when I put the trailer out, I can then have at least a couple episodes already recorded and ready to go. So that, rather than just putting in a, coming soon in the trailer, I can have, we'll, for sake of discussion, pick a date, let's say, coming, let's pull up my calendar, because I do want to keep, like, a Thursday schedule. So, rather than a coming soon or coming, late October, I can say, premiering October 26th. And I can put that in the trailer and whatnot. That is the plan. Whether or not that'll actually work out, I need to actually sit down and get the trailer recorded first off. I've got the voice lines that I commissioned someone for. I've got those all ready to go. I just need to record the footage and do my own little voice bits for it. And then, get it all edited together as well. So much work. Something else that I need to do is get one of my hard drives replaced, because the main hard drive on my computer is actually, it's a hard drive that came with my laptop that I originally had, that I bought back in mid 2017. Because when I built my desktop, I didn't want to have to deal with buying a new copy of Windows 10, and so I just yanked the hard drive from my laptop and whatnot. Because, I didn't want to have to pay for a new copy of Windows, which was like $180. And then I didn't want to have to go through and re-download all my games and whatnot. And so I just yanked the hard drive. Ah, dang it. See, this is what I get for not paying attention. Now I have to let it launch me so that I can put in a docking request and reland. Why? Well, I suppose in all fairness, it has been a while since I've done that. Like, it's been a couple of months since I, accidentally hit auto launch instead of station services, so I suppose it was due to happen. I just hate that it had to happen on a live stream.
Landing permitted. Set down on landing pad 38.
Right, yeah. Let's try that again. Oy vey. Alright, this time when we touch down, we hit station services. Yeah, anyways, going back to what I was talking about before. But yeah, since that, it's a hard disk drive, you know, very, it's a little mini one, probably about the size, other than the thickness, it's about the size of a deck of cards, whatnot. But, since, it's about 6 years old now. I want to go through and, get everything moved from it. And actually, what I'd like to do is, you know, move, move all the operating system stuff onto like a SS, move the OS and all the boot stuff to an SSD and get that put in, and then have my games and everything else put onto another drive. That's more like it. One thing that kind of stops me from doing that is, from what I've heard, I need to do a little more research on it. But I've heard that, there's more of a special process. It's more than just, plug in the new drive and just copy paste over and whatnot. So I need to do some looking in on that. But if it goes how I think it will, it's going to be more, it's going to require a bit of money, which is something that I don't exactly have a overabundance of at the moment. Oh wow, I actually managed to pick up all of them. Alright, so faction requirements. Probably need to be, yeah, we'll need a cordial for that one. Allied for that one. Allied. So many of these are just such a low payout for them. It's like, do I really care about that? Some of these missions I might forego the credit payout and just snag the let's see, are there any support missions? No. Darn. I'll say if there are some of those support, donate credits missions, snag a couple of those. Boost my reputation real quick.
Ship restraints withdrawn. Departure authorized.
Oh, apparently he's in trouble. Yeah, I'm just gonna put some distance between me and them. You know, I'm not carrying anyone illegal this time, but yeah, no, I'm not hanging around for that.
You have cleared the no-fire zone. Have a safe trip, Commander.
Alright, so I got in without being hyperdicted, which means I'm probably going to get yanked on my way out. In 3, 2, 1. Ah, the fact that I actually nailed that one. Nice. Ah, twinsies. Yeah, no thanks, guys. It's not often that I get the ones where it's, you know, two of them. Is that more of them coming in, or are those two going away? Let's see, what class of frame shift does this one carry? 5. That's one thing I might do is what I'd like to do is all my ships that have a class 5 frame shift drive, I'd like to go through and, you know, gather up all the mats I need to fit them all with the pre-engineered FSDs, as well as the mats needed to get the Mass Manager experimental effect on them. Like, especially with these rescue missions, having the increased range, but also the reduced cooldown time that the pre-engineered drives have would be very beneficial, because it is really nice to have a frame shift drive that, you know, cools down a lot quicker, especially when you get hyperdicted like that. After this, one more jump. I will say, I was I was hoping that maybe, today Frontier would fix things so that these missions would actually start running me to the rescue ships that are closer. Because, that would have made today's, passenger runs a little more profitable. But, unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to wait at least another week for that. Bit of luck, though, depending on how many of these missions will pay out with reputation, you know, I might be able to get myself to allied status with at least a couple of the factions. Which, should hopefully start giving me some higher paying missions in terms of credits. That's right. Picked up a fine. Forget what for, but let's see if it'll let me pay it here. Oh, I think I know where that fine came from. It's because I got killed, trying when I was running a reboot mission yesterday. That's right. They fined me because I wasn't fast enough at getting away from the settlement, and so the mission didn't complete. That's right. That's one of those things. I hate that I got fined with that particular mission because, like, I got the settlement powered up. Like, the only remaining objective was to leave. So, like, it's just one of those ones of, you know, I'll take a bit of a, faction reputation hit, for the fact that I didn't, 100% the mission. But the fact that I at least completed, the two primary objectives, I should get a pass for that at least. You would think. But evidently that probably just makes too much sense. friendly. Friendly, and then allied. Fantastic. Ah, right. Let's see if I can get rid of that one. Fine. And done. Alright. I'm kind of curious. I'll pull up Inara real quick, see if it logs any improvement in my little rank badges. I don't think so, like, not yet. Okay, for Samaritan, I just need to reboot 2 more settlements. And for Captain, at least what Inara is currently showing, I need to deliver 200 more VIPs and another 4,000 passengers overall. Then I can get rank 3 for that one. Alright, and back we go. Had my timing ever so slightly off. So that round gave us. Excuse me. So that round, even where we were taking more of the reputation, which, gives a lower credit payout, that still gave us about 30 million credits. Not too bad. Probably would have been a bit closer to about 35, 40 million. Um, excuse me. 35 to 40 million if I had just gone, full credit for all of those. But that's okay. more jumps. Now, all things considered, we're actually not doing too bad. 2 hours, 100 million, almost 100 million credits, made, you know, just off of passenger evacuation missions. I'd say that isn't too bad. Could it be better? Yeah, sure. But, for what we've got, I'm certainly not going to complain. Because in the end, it brings us that much closer to reaching our next, to earning up another billion credits, bringing us up to 2 billion. Which will have us 20% of the way to our eventual goal of 10 million credits to finance a fleet carrier. Which, that part I'm actually really looking forward to, is, being able to have a, mobile base of operations. I can always, I can have that move around with me, keep all of my modules and shit stored there. And so, depending on what I'm doing for a live stream on any given week, I can move my fleet carrier, ahead of time and have everything right there with me. About the only Some of the only things I probably wouldn't use my fleet carrier for as much, or at least that I wouldn't be able to get right to the intended system with the carrier, is stuff like engineering. Because I feel like pretty much every engineer's system is probably, got the maximum number of fleet carriers parked there. So, I'll more than likely park, one or two systems away, anytime I need to do stuff with engineers. Which, for that, I don't mind. It does certainly offer an opportunity to make, trade a bit more profitable. Because I can go through, find a system, buy up a bunch of a certain commodity, stock up my carrier to capacity, then jump to another system, and, just offload from there. If I'm lucky, find a couple of systems that have enough room that I can, park my carrier near the respective stations. Like that would be, the most ideal circumstance. It would also let me do, like, when we get the hauling um, community goals, I can go through, stock up my fleet carrier, run it to the destination system or somewhere close by, and then just offload it. And, get much higher contributions to the community goal that way. Oh boy. going too fast. No! No! Dang it! I pushed the button. Why didn't it let me drop? I was right there. See, that's one I'm half tempted to go back and find the guy and try and kill him. If I'd hit the drop button just a second sooner, I might have been able to avoid that. Well, I suppose that's another one of those bits that, it's been a while since that last happened to me. I guess I'm overdue for it again. I mean, all things considered, I probably could have. Well, honestly, I'm not entirely certain that I would have survived. Because, I'm carrying, 3 Guardian Plasma Chargers, which, full charge blast, would probably, depending on the ship that tried to yank me, I could feasibly do a bit of damage with that. But then again, I am running lightweight composite armor, which, yeah, that would not hold up for very long.
Landing successful. Dispatching ground crew. Welcome to our starport, Commander.
Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see. Almost 6 million off of that one. Yes, please. 25 million off of a single mission. Don't mind if I do. Whew. See, now we're talking. Alright, so that's all the really high paying ones. Now we go through and pick up all the ones that aren't as high paying. Let's see, 400, 400, 500. How are we looking on some of these factions? So, friendly, friendly, allied. So I need to bump reputation with them, with them, with them. Really with everyone, but... Oh yeah, and this one has illegal passengers. Naturally. Don't want to hear it. I don't mean to rush you, but could we get out of here ASAP? You know what? Just for that. No.
Landing coupler disengaged. Watch for oncoming traffic when passing through the airlock.
Alright. Out of there before any of them scanned us.
You are clear of the station. Flight control out.
Alright, this one, since I've had 2 in a row where I got in without issue, this one's definitely going to be a high prediction on the way out. There we go. You know, sometimes I really hate being right. And drop. I'll go to Wigs. Good, that's what I like to see. One thing I will say is I'm kind of, I am glad that I ended up switching up my stream schedule to move Elite Dangerous to Fridays. Excuse me. Just because, when I was doing it on Mondays, most of these alerts, assuming I was even able to find alerts to begin with, most of them would usually clear quick enough that I wasn't always able to get anywhere close to allied with any of the factions in, in those systems. And so seeing, some of these higher payout missions you know, was definitely a rarity. But, now, I get to see them just a little more frequently because, I am able now to run a lot more missions and get myself up to friendly and allied status with a lot of the factions in those systems, which is good. It's good for me. What I might try is I might Siba, because I think that the system that I've been grabbing from, has another starport, one of the smaller outpost style stations. I think some of those, might have some of the other factions, the ones I'm still on the lower reputation with, some of those might be more prominent in that station and whatnot. Might be something I check out over this coming week. After that earlier interdiction, I just keep checking the chat. It's like, okay, am I about to get yanked again? Every time a new message pops up, it's like, oh, no, that's just the cruise ship. Don't forget, we're in the top 1% of liners out there. It's like, yeah, well, passenger liners make up, only 1% of the, ships out there anyways, so, like, Alrighty. The round of capping out that reputation. Another one bumped up to friendly. So close to making up to 1.4 billion. So close. Let's see, up to friendly, up to ally, friendly, ally, ally, and ally. Fantastic. Alrighty, folks. And with that, that brings us to the end of today's live stream. Appreciate you guys coming out for today's stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Upcoming streams. Tomorrow, we're not going to be having our usual Space Engineer stream, as I've got a wedding that I'm going to, followed by a trip down to Evermore Park with a group of friends. So tomorrow we're going to be skipping the stream, but we'll be back on Monday with a round of MechWarrior Online, and then Friday, if I have the energy for it once I get back from that day at FanX, I might do a stream. If not, the next stream will be the Monday following, which will be a round of MechWarrior 5. So, that's what you guys have to look forward to from me. And again, I appreciate you guys coming out for today's stream. And until next time, take care, everyone.